lovely Virgos, this is Debs and this is your reading for mid-June 2026. Virgo, I hope you're well. It's really good to be with you. Thank you guys for being here. And just a very quick point. In these sets of readings, I've had an aircon unit blowing behind me because it's really, really warm here in the south of France. It's mid-June. So if you can hear it, I do apologize, but it does prevent me from losing concentration during my readings, okay? So do forgive that sound if you can hear it. Now, Virgo, I've got to be honest, guys. I saw somebody looking at what looked like a pile of papers. And they were thinking to themselves, this is just ridiculous. This is just crazy. I don't think I can do this anymore. They opened up their laptop and they brought up Google Maps. And they started zooming in, looking at various locations. And that's where the vision ended. Really strange. So Virgo, you may be in the process of finalizing a divorce. It could be the lawyers come back saying, yes, your ex is not agreeing to the settlement. They want more. And this is you feeling the pinch. This is you thinking, oh, okay. I've got to move a few things around. I've got to come up with some more money somehow. It could be, guys, you've simply received a lot of bills in the post, bills that you don't automatically pay by direct debit. They might have been pretty substantial and they might have all landed on your mat at the same time. And this may be you seriously considering moving now. This could be you thinking of downsizing. I simply can't afford to heat this house anymore, or I simply can't afford to pay this level of mortgage anymore. If you're lucky enough to have paid off a mortgage, Virgo, you may be thinking, all right, maybe it's time to sell the house, recoup a little bit of equity, and try to live in a much smaller place. And maybe even, Virgo, move to another country. I mean, I saw Google Maps, right? Whatever this is, you are facing a massive change. You're a little bit nervous, but Virgo, it's almost as if you've now come out of your head. And what you've realized is you cannot carry on the way you have been. It's just not working. It's just too much. It's too much pressure for you. It's too stressful. Okay. Weird. All right. I'm now seeing, this is a guy, by the way, but you could be a woman. It's just symbolism. I'm now seeing this guy wandering out into the back garden and he's looking at a really big shed and he's thinking to himself, could I sell the house, divide the land and live in this shed? If I renovated it, if I extended it out the back, could I literally sell the house I'm living in with a small piece of land, but divide up the boundary so I can live very, very simply in my very big shed? I don't know. Guys, you could be in a farmhouse with an outbuilding, and what you may be thinking about is, well, I don't need all this land. This is ridiculous. It may well be that this is land that you don't actually use, and what you may be considering is, well, can I just divide up the land and renovate an outbuilding? I mean, maybe that would be much cheaper. I feel as if, Virgo, you are ready to embrace very, very big change. So Archangel Michael saying, let's get into this. I'm also hearing, I'm also hearing tax. You may be in an area, Virgo, where you are heavily taxed. And it might be that what you've been thinking about is, if I move to another country where the tax is far lower, would I be happier? Because I wouldn't be waking up every day feeling really stressed out about the level of tax that I'm having to pay. You could even be in a job, Virgo, where your basic salary is pretty good, but you're in a country that take off a lot of tax. It could be you're an entrepreneur, and this is you thinking, you know what, I can live anywhere in the world. I don't need to live in a place that's so highly taxed. Maybe I should move. You might have thought about this before, Virgo, but sort of waved it away. No, it's all going to be fine. No, I want to stay here. No, I'm sure things will pick up. Virgo, you're facing facts, okay, guys? Not only that, you're going to be doing some research, I'm hearing, over the next 4 months. 4 months. So from now through until mid-October, you're going to be doing some serious research. Okay, guys, here we go. So this is the Guardian Tarot. Without further ado, I've waffled on long enough. Let's get into this. Archangel Michael, what do we have for my lovely Virgos, please? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, mid-June 2026. I'm seeing somebody looking at a pack of coffee and they're thinking, how much? No. And they're putting it back on the shelf. Okay, yeah, Virgo, maybe like many people, millions of people in the rest of the world. You may be one of those who are deciding, okay, I'm not going to cope with this anymore. I'm not going to deal with this anymore. I'm not going to accept this anymore. You may be wandering around your house thinking, well, I don't need all this furniture. I don't need these clothes. I don't need a huge bathroom, for instance. I mean, whatever this is, guys, you are considering, again, big change. I'm repeating myself. Let's get into this, Virgo. Yeah. All right. Temperance. Temperance. You may be speaking to a Sagittarian, or Virgo, Archangel Michael is guiding you. He's sort of whispering in your ear, Virgo, it's time to think about a different type of life, is what I'm getting. Okay. You may also feel, Virgo, that you have been coasting, but, you know, waking up in the morning, and the first thing you think about is, God, you know, how long can I stay here for? Can I survive here? Can I keep going? And I think, Virgo, you may be nervous because what you're recognizing is you've got to start thinking very, very differently. You've got to start thinking very differently, okay? Crossing that, Virgo, is the Three of Cups. You may be thinking about your family, okay? You may be married, trying to bring up kids, but it's not easy. Kids are expensive. You could be a single parent. You could be single, Virgo. And what you may be thinking about is, I need to perhaps talk to a couple of other people. How are you feeling? Could be your neighbours. You could be getting together with your neighbours for a chat. What do you think about this? Are you guys managing? I mean, it might be a very sensitive conversation, Virgo, but I think what you're trying to do is to confirm in your own mind that you do need to embrace a different lifestyle, is what I'm getting. In the past, Virgo, the Two of Pentacles. In the past, guys, you might have had to juggle money, or you may have been too busy to think about a massive change. I mean, this is you thinking in the back of your mind, you know what, I think I should sell the house. I think I should move to a cheaper area. Oh, I think I should start to think about looking elsewhere. But maybe, Virgo, you were so busy working, you just didn't have the time. And you thought, okay, it's not urgent yet. It's not crucial yet. But it was in the back of your mind. After that time, Virgo, the Four of Pentacles, you decided to stay put, Virgo. You might have had savings, but you were very consciously aware that even though you didn't want to, you kept maybe dipping into your savings. Wow, massive gas bill. Oh my gosh, big electric bill. Wow, insurance. And this is you thinking, okay, I'm getting more and more nervous here because this is just not, I'm hearing practical. It's just not practical. In your thoughts now is the Ace of Cups. Virgo, you are wanting to sit in self-love. You are wanting to wake up in the morning without stressing, without lying in bed thinking, how am I going to cope? Without feeling that burden weighing down on you. This is going to be a crucial time, Virgo. This is decision time. All right? You might have felt this coming over the last few months. You might have felt, yes, okay, but pushed it to the back of your mind. I know I need to face massive change. I know I need to consider a big move. I know I need to move to a cheaper country even. But you may have pushed it to the back of your mind because you couldn't cope with that level of disruption in your life. You were too busy. You might have known people in the environment. You might have had a relatively good job in the area you lived in. It may be your kids are at school. Whatever this is, Virgo, you pushed it to the back of your mind. But I do feel that this is you coming to the realization that you can't carry on living like this. You just can't. In the immediate future, yeah, Six of Pentacles. Too much money going out, not enough money coming in. You may also, Virgo, for some of you, have dependents, you know. You could be supporting kids, or it could well be that this is you supporting elderly parents. Whatever this is, Virgo, you have felt the strain. You felt the strain, guys. In your fears, Virgo, the Seven of Wands. Virgo, what you might have been fearing is if you speak your truth, someone is going to say no. Could be your partner. Could be someone who is relying on you. Okay. They might be in a very relaxed, I'm hearing cushy, okay, cushy situation. They may not want you to do this because it's going to affect them. This is a partner who doesn't want to leave a beautiful 3-bed house and move into a 1-bed house, Virgo, because they love the status of their beautiful property, right? This is a woman who spent years tending the garden to perfection. I mean, it could be something like that. You may be a female, Virgo, who is in a situation where your kids have friends in the area, you know? And this is you maybe as a single parent thinking, oh, I've got to pull my kids out of the school. I've got to pull my kids away from their friends. They'd hate it. They'd say, absolutely not, Mom, you know, no, not moving. You know you're going to get a pushback, Virgo. You're fearing it. In the environment is the Ace of Wands. Okay. Virgo, I have to admit, someone here is quite excited about this in a quiet way, because what they're recognizing is they've seen you more and more stressed. And this is someone, Virgo, who is saying to you, maybe you should seriously consider a massive move. Maybe you should consider downsizing. I'm also hearing off-grid. Wow. Virgo, you may be even contemplating a very simple life. I mean, if you're the sort of person where you wake up in the morning and you tend to only wear 3 or 4 outfits over the course of a season, and you're looking at your wardrobe and you're thinking, I don't wear any of this. In actual fact, if I'm honest, I haven't worn any of my other clothes for months, even years. This could be your reading. If this is you waking up thinking, oh, I don't need all this clutter. I don't need all these books. I don't need all these ornaments. I don't need all this kitchen stuff. I don't need all this space. Then Virgo, this could be for you. You may be realizing that you'd be happier living a much simpler life off-grid if you can cope with the rawness of that. Because for some people, they think it's a dream, but it's damn hard work. I mean, you know, if you're trying to dig your potatoes because you can't really afford food in the supermarket, you need a lot of land and it's stressful work. If you are a female over 60, for instance, it's going to be tough for you. You know, you're not going to be able to spend hours in the garden digging veggies because physically you just can't cope with it. So there are limits. But I am connecting with a group of Virgos who are suddenly getting the wake-up call. I cannot continue living this life in this area, in this house, living this lifestyle. I just can't afford it. Face facts. And Virgo, you are very grounded. You're an earth sign. You're getting real with yourself. Whoever is in the environment is saying, good idea, Virgo. Too much money going out, not enough money coming in. You should make a change. They are supporting you in this, and I love that. But you are fearing, Virgo, that maybe one person or 2 other people are not going to want to do this, okay? Or are not going to be thrilled. And it could be, Virgo, because it's going to affect them. In your hopes, guys. Wow, okay. I'm hearing I'm doing this and I don't want any arguments. I don't want any opposition. I know this is right for me. Virgo, you are preparing to stand your ground. And the outcome, guys, Knight of Pentacles, okay. Virgo, this is you doing the research. And we're talking serious research. Serious research. You may be getting on a plane, actually going to visit an area in another country. You could be trawling through government websites. Let's have a look at how people really live their life. Let's have a look at the tax situation, I'm hearing. Let's have a look at the cost of living in different areas. Let's have a look at how much it would cost to sell my house. What would be the realistic cost? Are there cheaper properties out there? Substantially cheaper? You are wanting this change to make a very big difference. Otherwise, what's the point? You could be looking at pensions. You could be looking at how much you still got saved if you have savings, Virgo. You could be looking at better rates of interest, even in other areas, other states, other cities. It may well be, guys, this is you considering offloading a lot of things in your house, in your property, to make a little bit of extra money. But it may not be just that, Virgo. It may be because you're thinking, well, not only do I not need half of this stuff, but also I can tuck that little bit of extra money away. And it could be, Virgo, because you're considering downsizing. I know I can't fit all this stuff into a new house or into a new apartment anyway. So let's get rid of it, make some money in the process. This is going to be a very serious reading for someone. And I can already sense a lot of people are listening to this thinking, God, you know, that's me. That's me. Virgo, it may well be that you are in a situation where you're recognizing the time is now. I have to really start doing some research here. Clarification for you guys. The King of Swords. Okay. You may be going through documents, paperwork. You might be looking at how many years you've got left on a mortgage, or you could be, if you're renting, you could be looking at where would be much less expensive to rent. How much would it cost to put items in storage? You're getting real with yourself. If you're a female Virgo with a King of Swords, this is you seeking information, or you could be going online and finding information, finding facts that are going to help you make this decision. Whittle down your options. That is what you're doing. Okay, guys. Page of Wands. You're going to come up with a couple of brilliant ideas. It could well be that if you have land, you could indeed be selling a property, and selling a property that is sitting on a small piece of land, but dividing up the land and building on another piece of your property. It could be, Virgo, this is you thinking, I'm going to bring in a lodger. It could be, Virgo, this is you thinking, I am going to try and be self-sufficient. You may be going into the local supermarket thinking, I simply cannot afford to buy this food. It's just ridiculous. You may be thinking, okay, well, from now on, I'm going to change my diet. For some of you, you may be thinking, I'm not going to have alcohol anymore because it's simply too expensive and I know it's not really good for me. You may be thinking, I'm not going to have coffee anymore because I simply can't afford it. You may be even changing your diet, which might improve your finances. Because a food shop these days is really expensive. Even if you go bog standard, even if you go to the cheapest place possible, or you try and buy food from a local market, it's still expensive. For some of you, this is a massive lifestyle change. You could be deciding to dig up your beautiful, pristine lawn and plant vegetables. Now, whoever is in the environment, Virgo, is fully on board because they've seen how stressed you become. They're fully on board, Virgo. The High Priestess. This is someone who's using their intuition, Virgo, that you are about to make a massive change. You are about to do something creative because you want to somehow reduce your living costs, or you want to be in a situation where you're not waking up stressed every day. This could be a Pisces or a Cancerian. This person, yeah, judgment, wow, Virgo. This is someone who is understanding that you are about to make a major decision. Underneath the deck, my Virgos, the moon. Yeah, Virgo, you are fed up of sitting in a place of fear. The fear is mounting. Overthinking, overanalyzing. Can I cope? Can I keep my head above water? Can I stay afloat? Two of Wands. I think, Virgo, you've been on the edge of making massive change for quite a long time. Several months, if not 2 or 3 years. And it's all down to the fact the world is changing. Prices are skyrocketing. Even if you try and live on the breadline, it is still, for some people, too expensive, right? So guys, I think you are dipping into options in mid-June, but you're serious about this now. You may be spending a Saturday trawling websites, looking at properties, looking at different areas of the world that you could actually move to for some of you. For others of you, you could be looking at moving to a countryside area rather than living on the outskirts of a city, better quality of life. You may be weighing up the pros and cons of travel costs. Okay, well, if I move out of living in a city and embrace a quality of life in the countryside, but I have to still travel into a city for work, how much is it going to cost gas, car tax, all that sort of stuff? How much is it going to cost for an annual train ticket, right? You're going to be doing some calculations, Virgo, but you want this to really make a difference. Otherwise, there is no point, because the logistics of you making this change, Virgo, are going to be taxing on you, are going to be a bit stressful. You're going to have to cope with a lot. You're going to have to get really organized. You may be physically tired once you've made this change. You want to make sure this is going to be worth it. So guys, it may well be that you are financially responsible for 2 or 3 other people, okay? Or you are simply feeling it's time to get together with a friend or 2 friends to have a private conversation, just to brainstorm. What do you guys think? Are you managing? Have you thought about moving? You may just want to get your thoughts and ideas out there to see somebody else's response, because this is you needing to have someone to talk to about this. You're needing to have someone to chat to about this. What is your situation, Virgo, here? Wow, yeah, okay. You might be having particular issues with a Capricorn for some of you, if not a Sag. Or with the energy of the devil, Virgo, you feel as if you have kept yourself stuck, constantly telling yourself it's going to be okay, it's going to be fine, I'm going to manage, it's all going to work out, when actually what you're recognizing is, if you're honest with yourself, you've been obsessing about the situation, knowing you had to embrace change, knowing it was a necessity. It wasn't even something that you would want to choose to do. It is actually needed. Time has come, Virgo. Yeah. And what you're considering is, I've got to get out of this rigid, keeping myself stuck energy. I've got to think expansively. I've got to think outside the box. I've got to maybe spread the net wider, look at different areas, look at different ways of living, because I simply can't do this anymore. You are stepping into the energy of the Magician, Virgo, which is very exciting. You told yourself it's time. It's time, right? Yes, 10 of Cups. Because Virgo, whether or not you're sat there, just you with a couple of pets, okay, stressing about your business not putting in money, or stressing out that you're not going to get a promotion or a pay rise, or whether or not, Virgo, you are responsible for supporting financially a whole family. Everyone's situation will be different, but you simply want to be happy. What you're realizing is you're not happy because you're waking up stressed all the time, and it's not good for you, Virgo. Yeah. 8 of Pentacles. You're thinking about work, ways of working. You're thinking about finances. Guys, 5 of Wands. And you're just sick of being in your head about this. You're sick of being in your head about this. You might even, Virgo, have found yourself being a little bit short with people, a bit testy with people, when deep down you may know that it's nothing to do with anyone else. You've just been dealing with a lot of pressure. And I don't think you want to be in that situation much longer. Let's have a look at the 2 of Pentacles in the past. Virgo, I think you recognised that change was needed, but you were still sort of deliberating, could I juggle money? Could I hang on to where I am? You know, the house I live in, the area I live in, could I manage? So you knew change was needed, but I don't think you did anything about it. You might have just buried your head in the sand, Virgo. You know, I don't blame you, because this would mean a very big change. Yeah, you knew change was needed with the energy of the world. You knew change was needed. For some of you in the past, you may even have been thinking about moving to another country. I've got to admit, with the world, global travel, strength, but you were held back. You were held back. It might be, Virgo, because you were facing health issues. It might be, Virgo, because you would have to have a conversation with a Leo for some of you. And you might have thought, this Leo isn't going to want to do that, right? So you pulled back from making this big change. You held back. But this is you sitting in a fear mindset. 4 of Pentacles, 4 of Pentacles. Maybe I could dip into savings. Maybe things are going to work out. Maybe I can put in a bit more money, right? Maybe I can sort of lessen my bills. But the thought kept returning, Virgo. This just isn't manageable going forward over the next few years. You told yourself the truth. You told yourself the truth, guys. Yeah. But 5 of Cups. It didn't make you very happy, Virgo. Page of Swords. It might be this is you admitting the truth to a child of yours. Sorry, darling, we're going to have to take you out of the school you so love, away from your friends, because we simply can't afford to live in this area. Or you might have gone online privately, quietly to look at other areas, other properties that were cheaper, but then felt guilty because you were doing this, you know, behind closed doors. Maybe you didn't want to tell a partner. Maybe you didn't want to tell your kids, right? You did a little bit of research in the immediate past, but nothing serious because you really didn't want to make this change. Now, Virgo, you are thinking, it's time for me to release the stress. It's time for me to release the pressure. I have to move out of my comfort zone in order for me to sit in self-love. This is you thinking, I'm going to have to cope with a massive lifestyle change, but if I do, when I do, is what I'm hearing. Wow. When I do, I'm actually going to be sitting in a much more relaxed mindset. Not so stressed about money, not so stressed about mounting bills. Yes, it's going to take a lot of effort. It's going to be stressful. It's going to take a lot of organisation. It's not going to be easy. I'm going to be exhausted. But once I've made that change, what you're hoping, Virgo, is that ongoing, you can then completely relax. Now, you may still have to work. You may still have to work very hard, but it may be you're living in a much smaller house, a much cheaper area. You may be changing your lifestyle, okay? What you're recognising is you have to do this. It is time. It is time, Virgo. Yeah, the Fool. Wow. Guys, you're ready to do this. You're ready to take a big leap of faith. You might be looking at the past thinking, I sort of lied to myself. I sat in this property or I stayed in this area because I simply couldn't face leaving. It was foolish of me. I've wasted time. I should have done this 5 years ago, you know. What is on your mind? What's playing on your mind here? The past. The past. You might be thinking of children. Okay. There may be a connection here with an Aries, with the energy of the Fool. Or for some of you, Virgo, you may be considering going back to your roots somehow. I mean, this could be anything, guys, pulling it out of thin air, and it's just an example. You could have been born in Bulgaria. You might have then been very successful in terms of your career in the States. You're now thinking, okay, I just can't live this life anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. It's too expensive. It's not what I really want. You may be dreaming of going back to your simple little life in Bulgaria. You know, could be. I mean, whatever this is for you guys, you are recognizing that you have to take the bull by the horns and make this change. The Star, yes, because Virgo, you want to pull back, to have time to relax for you without stressing about not being able to afford to live a relatively decent life, a comfortable life. And I'm not talking, you know, you splashing out on luxuries. I'm talking when a bill hits the mat or when a direct debit goes out, you don't freeze and go into panic mode. It's easily affordable, right? That is the life that you are hoping to achieve here. So Virgo, in the immediate future, we have the Six of Pentacles and the Ace of Wands. With the energy of the Six of Pentacles, you are recognizing that too much money's going out, not enough money's coming in. Whatever life you lead, whether or not you're an entrepreneur, you are in a 9-to-5 job, whether or not you are retired and you're having to cope with a pension on your own, what you're recognizing is this lifestyle is becoming unmanageable. In the environment, Virgo, is someone who is saying, I think this is a brilliant idea, Virgo. I haven't wanted to say anything, but I think this judgment call is a very good idea. Because what they're recognizing is you've changed, Virgo. You're no longer relaxed and happy and chilled. You might have become very quiet, permanently in your head. They recognize the change in you, Virgo, and this person, I think, is right behind you. They know, Virgo, that if you embrace this, the pressure's going to be lifted, and that's what it's all about. There is no point, Virgo, in you struggling on, having sleepless nights, stressed about your situation when you could change it. Not everyone is able to change their situation, but the group of Virgos I'm connecting with will, I'm sure, resonate with this. It's got to be hitting someone out there. So Archangel Michael, when do we have the Six of Pentacles and the Ace of Wands for Virgo? Thank you, Michael. Imminent. Imminent. Now, Virgo, this isn't you doing anything impulsive. This isn't you jumping from the frying pan into the fire, but you are getting very organized. You may be saying to yourself, okay, over the next few weekends, I'm going to be house hunting, or I am going to be seriously looking at visiting some places in other states, other cities, out in the countryside. You may be getting your property valued. You may be looking at rental rates. You may be thinking, okay, well, how long do I have left on my rental lease? When can I actually get out of it? You might be looking at food costs in other countries. You could be looking at levels of tax. It may be, Virgo, that if it's relevant for some of you, if you are lucky enough to have a certain amount of land, you may be considering selling a property, cutting the land in half and building on a much smaller area. You may be even considering that. Well, rather than buying a property, how much would it cost to renovate an outbuilding and live in that? Sell the main house. You're looking at options, guys. So let's have a look at the Ace of Wands. Whoever you're communicating with, they haven't said anything, Virgo, but I think they're right behind you. I think this is someone very supportive. Yeah. Because what they're recognizing is you've distanced yourself. If you are connected to this person, Virgo, they are also worried about their finances. And so if you are deciding to make a move, it may well be that it's going to make this person's life better as well. The Queen of Pentacles. Okay. Now, if you're a feminine Virgo, they're thinking of you. Okay. You are considering your money, your finances. If you are a masculine Virgo, this could even be your wife, you know. She hasn't said anything, but she's recognizing that you two need to make a serious decision. Yeah, what else is on this person's mind? The Hierophant. Okay, this could be a Taurian. This could be somebody you're married to, Virgo. This could be your wife. Or with the energy of the Hierophant, this is someone who up until now has been doing things as they always have been, living their life in the way they always have been. And Virgo, you're nervous about this because this is someone who is still spending money the way they spent money 10 years ago. And you're looking at this thinking, we can't do this anymore. But I don't have the courage to say to this Queen of Pentacles, you need to pull your horns in, darling. We can't afford this and that anymore. We can't afford a lovely little 2-week holiday abroad anymore. Things have changed, because you don't want to dampen this person's spirits. You don't want to make them feel a bit down about this. But because this person is wanting to be supportive, they are ready to face Judgment Day. So if this is your wife, they do recognize that things need to change. Or Virgo, this could be someone who is saying to you, Virgo, I haven't wanted to say anything, but you cannot carry on living your life the way you always have been because the economy's changed. The world has changed. Everything's skyrocketed in terms of cost. I haven't wanted to say anything, but I think we need to start looking outside the box. You know? Yeah. Eight of Cups. Wow. Yeah. And what this person is talking to you about is leaving your situation. Moving out of living in a very traditional manner. This is someone who is open to a change of lifestyle. Or this is someone, Virgo, who is saying to you, it is time that you walked away from managing things in a particular way because the whole world has changed. They're pleased, Virgo, that finally you may be looking at things very differently now. All right. Four of Swords. They've been thinking about this. They've been thinking about this for quite a long time. Now, Virgo, you could recognize as well that this person is tired. They are exhausted. Something has to give. Let's have a look, Virgo, at what you are thinking about. What are you thinking about here? Six of Pentacles, money, Knight of Wands. Okay. Yeah. Virgo, I mean, this is you weighing up the pros and cons of actually moving. Okay, let's get the show on the road. Let's do this. Let's do this, you know? Yeah. Ace of Swords. You've told yourself the truth. Maybe finally, Virgo, I have to embrace a different lifestyle. I have to downsize. I have to consider moving somewhere a lot cheaper. What else are you considering here, guys? You might be looking at savings. You might be thinking, okay, well, I'm not on the breadline, but I know that if I carry on and not make any changes, I will be. And this is the wake-up call, okay? This is you thinking I'm going to be absolutely fine, but I have to take control of my situation in the next few months. This could be you looking at past mistakes financially. You know, this may be you wandering around your house thinking, God, did I really need that? Why did I buy that? Oh, no, that was quite expensive. Shouldn't have made that purchase. But Virgo, that really expensive purchase you made, you were meant to make it. Because later on, the divine wanted you to look back thinking, well, that was a mistake. That was another lesson learned. Tick that lesson off the checklist, you know? Everything you do, every person you meet, every experience you have is all pre-written, Virgo. So even if you're there looking back thinking, I shouldn't have done that, I shouldn't have done this, why did I take that action? You were meant to learn that lesson. But Virgo, as the divine has been guiding you through your painful lessons, challenging lessons, they're also guiding you to make this big decision. And this is going to be very positive for you guys. It's time. You know it's time. You know it's time. Hangman, yeah? You are suddenly seeing things clearly. You are suddenly recognizing, Virgo, that you need to look at things completely differently. You're turning everything on its head. What you're thinking about is, if I carry on staying in this environment, in this house, in this lifestyle, I'm going to have to seriously sacrifice. And I'm going to be stressed every time a bill drops on the map. I'm going to be stressed looking at my bank accounts every single day, worried that I will not be able to make ends meet. This is the turning point, Virgo, and this is imminent. This is now, right? So Virgo, let's have a look at the energy between you and this Queen of Pentacles, High Priestess. She knows it's judgment time. It's judgment day. She knows, right, that this is necessary. Whoever she is, yeah. Because with the Nine of Wands, she's aware that you cannot carry on any longer. This could be a family member. This could be a close confidant of yours, Virgo. You could be brainstorming with this person, having a serious conversation with them. The Nine of Wands is, okay, I just don't think I can do this anymore, or I don't think we can do this anymore. What you're fearing is standing up for what you believe in. It might be this is you realizing that somebody might be giving you a bit of pushback, okay? But Virgo, what you're hoping is that with the energy of the Two of Swords, you're hoping to say to whomever is saying to you, I don't think you should do this, or I don't want to do this, you are going to be moving into a very authoritative, is what I'm hearing, mode, and saying to this person, I'm sorry, but I or we have no option. This is not a choice, this is a necessity. And Virgo, the final card is the Knight of Pentacles. This has been a long time coming. I think you've had this on your mind, Virgo, for a long time. And this is you realizing it's time to really look at your options now. So let's have a look at the Knight of Pentacles. Yes, the Three of Wands. Yeah. This has been a long time coming. You embracing change, Virgo. This has been a long time coming. You're being very strong with someone here, guys. Oh, Knight of Swords. There may be a pending argument with someone. This is someone who you are connected to, who really doesn't want to leave. What are you saying to that person? Yeah, we are moving, or I am moving. It might affect them. But Virgo, what you're saying is, it's a done deal. There's no other way. I've looked at every other single option. We or I have to move. We have to move somewhere cheaper. We have to move somewhere smaller. We have to move to another city, another state. I want to move from the suburbs out into the countryside. I don't care if I have to travel. I want a quality of life and I want to reduce our bills. Whatever you're doing here, Virgo, you are making a huge change. Justice, to bring balance to your life. To bring balance to your life, Virgo. And that means you're going to have to erase, take apart, disintegrate a foundation that you have got used to sitting on, standing on, right? You are saying to someone, we've got to bring the tower down. No other way. We've got to sell the house. We've got to move to another country. We've got to completely change the way we've been living. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to survive this. We're not going to be able to relax and be happy going forward. What are they saying? Okay, Page of Pentacles. Okay, all right. So Virgo, you are talking to someone who didn't actually want to accept this in the past. Or you may be talking to someone, Virgo, who privately has been thinking, I knew this day was coming. I knew this day would come, right? Yeah. Yeah. The Sun. What you are saying to this person or people is, this is the only way we can grow and expand. This is the only way we can be happy, or I can be happy. You may be talking to a child or your children. I'm sorry, but, you know, we've decided massive lifestyle change. We're going to sell the house. We're going to buy a small holding. We're going to move thousands of kilometers away, but it's going to be a quality of life. And we're going to be able to manage and be happy for the rest of our lives if we make this decision. So Virgo, this is the time. And to be honest, guys, we end the reading with you looking at options. So we are going right back round to center again. This is you in mid-June, no longer stressing about your situation, no longer up in your head about this. You are looking at practical options. Where do I want to live? How do I want to live? You're looking at your outgoings, you're looking at incomings, you're looking at insurance, you're looking at tax, you're looking at costs of transport. You're chucking everything into the melting pot, Virgo, and you are going to be making a firm decision. It may not be for 3 or 4 months, but this is you on the road to making a very big change, and it's long awaited. So guys, let's finish this reading with a message from the universe. Here we go, guys. Sacred Soul Portals. Archangel Michael, what does the universe want to say to my lovely Virgos who are in the situation? Making magic. Oh my word, Virgo. Beautiful. Whatever you touch turns to gold and you manifest like the powerhouse you truly are. Virgo, I think the divine is behind you. As long as you are prepared to transform your situation, this is metamorphosis. We have a butterfly to get out of the woods, right? This is going to be successful for you. As long as, Virgo, you really do make this change and you don't just sit in your head thinking about it, I believe it's all going to work out in your favor. You're going to be fine, guys. Okay? All right. So, my lovely Virgos, I am leaving the reading there. As always, do let me know if this is your story. Take care of you guys. And of course, I will be back before you know it with your next set of readings. See you soon. Bye, Virgo.